The Millionaire Next Door. Full compelling summary. One continuous piece. Imagine this for a moment. You're walking through an ordinary neighborhood. Kids riding bicycles, a man washing his old pickup truck, a woman walking her dog. Nothing fancy, nothing unusual. But what if I told you that some of the wealthiest people in your city, real millionaires, live in places exactly like this? No mansions, no luxury cars, no gold watches. Just everyday people, in everyday houses, living quietly, while quietly building fortunes. This is the core discovery behind The Millionaire Next Door, a book that shattered the world's assumptions about what wealth really looks like. It's not the loud, flashy lifestyle you see on social media. It's not the man with designer clothes or the woman with luxury bags. Real wealth, true, lasting wealth, is often invisible. And the people who build it are far more disciplined, strategic, and humble than you might ever imagine. Today, we're diving deep into the surprising, eye-opening lessons from this book. Lessons based on decades of research, thousands of interviews, and the real financial habits of self-made millionaires across America. And as you listen, you may find yourself thinking, hold on, I can actually do this. This is possible. Let's begin. Most people assume millionaires inherit their money, or that they're geniuses, or that they simply got lucky. But according to the researchers Thomas Stanley and William Danko, the vast majority, about 80 to 90%, are first-generation wealthy. Meaning, they started from scratch. No trust fund, no help, no magic opportunity. Nothing but discipline, consistency, and smart decisions. One of the most striking findings is this: real millionaires live far below their means. They don't try to appear rich. They focus on becoming rich. In fact, most of them drive cars that are 5, 10, sometimes even 15 years old. Their homes are modest. Their clothes are functional, not flashy. And here's the shocking part. They could afford luxury, easily, but they simply don't see the point. Every dollar they don't spend unnecessarily is a dollar that works for them in investments, savings, or business growth. Why does this matter? Because society teaches us that looking rich is the goal. But the book proves something powerful. Trying to look wealthy is the fastest path to staying broke. Quiet, disciplined living is the path to actual wealth. Another surprising discovery is the occupation of many millionaires. They are not high-status professionals like surgeons or corporate executives. Instead, many are small business owners, plumbers, electricians, contractors, car repair shop owners, lawn care service owners, restaurant operators. Ordinary jobs, extraordinary discipline. One millionaire interviewed in the research had a simple philosophy. I buy my freedom with every dollar I save. Not freedom in the dramatic sense, freedom in the everyday sense. Freedom to choose how he works, when he works, and how he spends time with his family. And that is a theme across the entire book. Millionaires value time more than luxury. Let's move into one of the most impactful principles: pause versus UAWs. This means prodigious accumulators of wealth versus underaccumulators of wealth. Pause are people who save aggressively, invest consistently, and spend with intention. They don't care about impressing anyone. They care about building financial independence. UAWs, on the other hand, earn good money, but spend almost all of it. They live paycheck to paycheck, even with high incomes, because lifestyle inflation eats everything they make. They upgrade their phone, their car, their clothes, their vacations, always chasing the next reward. And because of that, they never truly build wealth. One of the most powerful questions from the book is this: if your income dropped by half tomorrow, could you still maintain your lifestyle? Most people can't, but millionaires, real millionaires, can, because they've designed a lifestyle below their financial potential. That gap between what they earn and what they spend becomes the engine that drives their wealth. Here's another fascinating insight. Millionaires plan how they spend their money before they spend it. They budget. They keep track of expenses. They invest automatically. They know where their money goes. Not because they're cheap, but because they're strategic. If you think budgeting is boring, think again. The book shows clearly millionaires don't chase hot tips. They don't try to get rich fast. They don't gamble their money. They invest slowly, steadily, consistently. And this consistency, even more than intelligence, creates massive wealth over decades. One of the book's strongest messages is about delayed gratification. Millionaires understand that the pleasure from buying something expensive is temporary, but the pleasure of financial security, of not worrying about bills, of choosing your own schedule, of retiring early, that lasts a lifetime. Let's shift into one of the most emotional and eye-opening parts of the book: raising the next generation. Millionaires don't spoil their kids. They don't shower them with money. They don't give them everything they ask for. Why? Because doing so destroys motivation. The researchers discovered that children from wealthy families who receive too much economic outpatient care, free money, gifts, help with bills, often become financially dependent adults. But those who are taught discipline, responsibility, and self-reliance often become even wealthier than their parents. Wealth is not just money, it's mindset, and mindset is usually inherited. One story from the book tells of a millionaire who drove the same pickup truck for 17 years. When asked why he didn't upgrade to a luxury car since he could easily afford it, he said, "My money works for me, a car wouldn't." He understood something most people never realize. The real value of money is not what you buy, it's what you invest. Now let's dive into a concept that will change how you view spending forever. Big hat, no cattle. This is a phrase used in the book to describe people who look rich but aren't. Big hat, meaning big show. No cattle, meaning no real assets behind the image. These are the people with expensive cars, luxury clothes, designer accessories, extravagant vacations, but no savings, no investments, no actual wealth. They are financially fragile. They appear strong, but their foundation is weak. Millionaires, the real ones, are the exact opposite. Small hat, big cattle, modest appearance, big wealth. Let's move deeper into one of the most important traits millionaires share. They control their financial environment. That means they avoid social circles that push them to overspend. They avoid lifestyles that require constant upgrades. They choose environments that match their goals, not their ego. Here's something powerful. Many wealthy people in the research lived in neighborhoods where they were not the richest, because living somewhere modest reduces pressure to overspend and keeps savings high. Meanwhile, high-income earners who move to fancy neighborhoods often end up financially stuck. Millionaires understand this simple truth. Your environment either builds your wealth or destroys it. Another key point: millionaires value education, but not the way people think. They don't necessarily have the highest degrees, but they are lifelong learners. They read books, they study markets, they understand taxes, they analyze financial decisions. They learn continuously, not to impress anyone, but to grow. They know that wealth isn't random. It's built through knowledge applied consistently over time. Let's talk about frugality, not in the sense of being cheap, but in the sense of being intentional. Millionaires are frugal because they value discipline. They don't buy things to impress people. They buy things that serve them. They buy quality, not labels. They spend mindfully, not emotionally. Frugality is not about deprivation. It's about choice. The choice to build wealth instead of destroying it through impulse purchases. Now, let's touch on entrepreneurship. A significant number of millionaires own businesses, not huge corporations, but small, manageable companies. Their success doesn't come from glamorous ideas. It comes from solving everyday problems, fixing cars, repairing air conditioners, installing plumbing, cutting grass, selling tools, providing services. Simple, consistent work that grows quietly and steadily. Many of these entrepreneurs became millionaires because they reinvested profits instead of upgrading their lifestyle. One of the most surprising findings from the book is how millionaires handle financial setbacks. They don't panic. They don't blame others. They adjust. They cut spending. They rebuild. They stay focused. They view challenges as part of the game, not a sign to give up. Their emotional stability is part of their wealth, because wealth requires patience, discipline, consistency, and resilience. Let's move to one of the most inspiring ideas in the entire book. Wealth is built slowly, then suddenly. For years, you may feel like nothing is happening. Your investments grow slowly. Your savings increase little by little. Your discipline feels repetitive. Then one day, your investments cross a threshold. Compounding accelerates, and everything changes. This is why millionaires don't stop. They trust the process. They understand that wealth grows exponentially, not linearly. Finally, let's bring all of this together into one powerful message. Becoming a millionaire is not about luck. It's about behavior. It's about living below your means, investing consistently, avoiding lifestyle traps, ignoring social pressure, prioritizing freedom over appearance, choosing long-term success over short-term pleasure, and understanding that real wealth is quiet, steady, and intentional. The Millionaire Next Door is more than a book. It's a wake-up call, a reminder that wealth is not what you see. Wealth is what you don't see. It's the investments, the savings, the discipline, the time, the freedom. And it's available to anyone willing to follow the path, no matter where they start.